Hi and welcome back. Today I have a couple of books for you to look at. They're both from Artisan Ideas and they're from the same author. The first one is called Secrets of the Forge, Beginning and Intermediate Projects for Blacksmiths, and the second one is called the Blacksmith's Project Book, Intermediate and Advanced Projects from European Masters. These books were originally published in Italy and they've now been translated into English and available in the US. In this video, I'm going to be going over most of the projects that are contained in these two books. I can't show you the entire book, of course, but I'm going to try to give you a pretty good idea of whether these books are of interest to you. So if you'll pardon my stained, beat-up fingers showing up every once in a while in the shot, let's have a look inside. Now the subtitle of this book suggests that it's another basic blacksmithing book that follows the same format that we're all familiar with. You know, the first several chapters cover all of the basic tools and how to set up a shop, and then you find a few projects at the end of the book. However, this book isn't like that at all. The projects in this first book are geared to the ornamental ironwork industry, so they're elements that you would find in gates, railings, lighting fixtures, that sort of thing. This book is about how to forge and shape metal, but the projects do rely heavily on having a good welder and sometimes having several different types of welders and knowing how to use them. Also, the projects in this book come from ornamental ironwork shops, so the basic techniques are solid. However, over the years they've been pared down to cut costs and increase production. So for example, a lot of times you'll find parts being shaped over the jaws of a vise rather than a specialized stake or swage block that you would find in a traditional ornamental ironwork shop. And of course the resulting finish is a lot cruder than the 13th or 14th century example that they're trying to reproduce. At first I have to admit that I found this a little disturbing, but then I began to appreciate the honesty of this presentation. You know, they obviously know how to do the work. It would have been very easy to hand this off to somebody and say, look, you know, don't do this the way we normally do it. Make it up really nice because we're putting it in a book, you know, but instead they're showing you how they do it, and this is the reality of blacksmithing. You know, you have to cut costs somewhere to earn a living, so what's your middle line going to be between your ideals and what you have to do to make ends meet? But the common element in both of these books is that they feature projects that involve shaping and moving metal, and they do a good job of giving you an overview of the whole process. And in that respect, these books do a great job because there is a lot of information here, but it's just sometimes you have to overlook the finished product and concentrate on what they're trying to teach you. So if you're just starting out, this is not the first book that you should be buying because it assumes that you have a good working knowledge of all the basic techniques and you're just looking for how to go to the next level, how to make your own stuff, how to start designing your own projects. So even though I don't think this is the first book that you should buy, this 2-volume set is certainly some of the first books that you should own because the amount of projects that are featured in these two books really illustrate how a few simple techniques can be used to produce anything you want. So this is the first project, and this one page is the total description for this project, and it basically says heat the bar up and hammer it out into a spear shape. It assumes first of all that you know how to hammer a point on a bar, and from there it assumes that you'll know that once you place that pointed section on the horn is going to thin out that area of the bar more than everywhere else, and that's going to start creating that spear shape that you're looking for. So again, this book shows you the steps in the process, but it doesn't concern itself with going over things that you should already know. Of course, as you get further along in the book, you know, more photographs are devoted to each project, but the description stays pretty basic. Again, this book doesn't take you by the hand and explain every little detail. The sole focus of this book is to give you a really good overview of some of the most common decorative elements that go into ornamental ironwork. The Blacksmith's project book gives you examples about how to go about more complicated projects. The advanced projects are more in terms of the amount of equipment that you need, not so much the complexity. Some of these projects can only be done under a power hammer or with a very willing striker, and others require just specialized equipment that's usually out of reach for the novice smith. Otherwise, if you have a good working knowledge of the basic blacksmithing skills, the projects are fairly easy to follow along. The projects in this book range from very sculptural work to more traditional hardware, but once again, it's basic techniques just reapplied in different ways. And you'll notice that the level of finish in this book is much higher, and that's because all of the projects are being done by individual artists and not a shop that is a welding slash blacksmith shop that produces everything from industrial safety railings to ornamental ironwork. But as you look through these two books and you start studying the projects that they contain, you'll realize that moving your game up to the next level is not so much trying to find some elusive technique that's out there, but it's simply a matter of refining your approach and just tweaking the equipment that you're using. It's all the same stuff. You're always moving metal and you're always pushing it around to get it where you need it. And that these books do a good job of showing that process. Well, that's it for today, and I hope this helps you out. I tried to be as impartial as possible and just describe what I saw in these two books. My hope was that it would kind of recreate that old bookstore experience where you actually got a chance to handle a book and leaf through it before you got a chance to buy it. And when you get a chance, do head over to the Artisan Ideas website. They carry a pretty wide range of metalworking books. We'll see you next time. Hi, I'm Dennis, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can contact me directly by emailing the address I have displayed here. If you want to find out more about me and what I'm working on right now, go to my website, dfintheshop.com.